Hello. I'm going to jump right in. A special education teacher and a general education teacher have many roles, from supporting learning to upholding high standards, showing ethics, and working collaboratively with learners and colleagues. First and foremost, both teachers support learning by personalizing their lessons for a diverse set of learners. For example, a SPED teacher may have a student with a disability and will teach strategies to help them effectively. Maybe they need sensory materials added to a lesson. On the other hand, if a student is advanced, maybe the student needs access to more challenging material. The TASC core teaching standards talks about how a teacher should have a potential bias and understand it when looking at learners. So looking at their culture, their gender, their language, their ability, and basically just their ways of knowing. It impacts the expectations and the relationships of every learner and their teacher. As a general education teacher, you should be open to every learner and giving them a fair opportunity in your classroom. For example, if a student's first language is Spanish, you should create material for them in Spanish to help them learn the standardized material. Secondly, teachers are expected to have a deep understanding of the knowledge and the skills their learners need. So for instance, if you teach kindergarten through second, you need to be well versed in phonics. You can't just walk into a classroom and be an expert in that grade. You need to have specific knowledge, or else the learner will suffer. I think back to my first year of teaching. I taught first grade. I had no idea how to teach phonics, and I still feel guilty. I had to do extensive research to make sure that I was teaching them correctly, and it was still a struggle because I was basically learning with them. Also, teachers need to have a strong sense of ethics. They need to do the right and just thing in all situations. You can't pass a student if they didn't do the work, and you can't fail a student if you just don't like them. As a general education teacher, it's important to know laws. For example, confidentiality between learners and families. At my school, we can't legally tell parents another student's name, even if they want to know, who to give such and such to, or if there's a behavior and they want to know who bit my kid. We literally can't tell you because it goes against their confidentiality between the students, right? For a SPED teacher, I feel like you need to be more conscientious of specific laws pertaining to special needs individuals and really learning the ins and outs for them. Lastly, teachers are expected to work collaboratively. So the TASC core teaching standard says that collaboration improves learning and overall teachers' practice. It supports a creative environment and culture for students learning. So basically, teachers can do their job better. Everyone shares the same vision and they're all working to the same goal. A general education teacher can do this by meeting with their grade level team a few times a month and sharing ideas and what worked for their kids and what didn't work for the kids, right? A SPED teacher needs to work closely with the learner's team. They need a deep understanding of what each person does. So for example, if there's a speech pathologist, you need to know what they're working on, if they're working on a specific sound, if they're working on modeling, communication. The second part of the current is the current disposition I possess to be a successful teacher. I have compassion, I have respect for diversity, and high expectations. I have compassion for every learner that steps foot in my classroom because I have a religious view that God made everything precious and I must handle everything with care. Along those same lines, I believe God made us all different for a specific purpose. And I respect everyone's diversity for that same reason. Lastly, I do have high expectations for my students. I love trying new methods to get my lessons across, and I want all my students to get it. If they don't, I reteach it in different ways. They may need more visuals and more hands-on activities. I need to work on fairness. I do have favorite students, if I'm honest. It's usually the one that participates, but I'm working on it by building relationships with them. So I'm eating with them at snack time and asking them specific questions and making them more humanizing. Lastly, some personal biases teachers may have, or everyone starts from the same place, and it will affect the relationships of your families because it's unrealistic. They may not be emotionally ready to learn short vowels because they have trauma at home, or maybe they have an unknown disorder, but you have to meet them where they're at. So thank you.